a piece of history that was kept from us once again. I'm an Atlanta native, and I thought this was a myth. It's about Lake Lanier in Georgia, about 45 minutes to an hour north of Atlanta. Watch this.
Chill. D-boy hits. Hey, Steve-O, man, pass the weed.
Look at an all-black town in Georgia called Oscarville.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this on social media for the last few years, and if you haven't heard of it, it's probably because it no longer exists. It's buried under Lake Lanier. 11 Alive's Latasha Gibbons has more.
When we started working on this story, we set out to track down descendants of Oscarville. Weeks later, we found a family who could trace back their roots 4 generations. They shared with us stories that were handed down about what the all-black town was like, including the night that led to its destruction. It was set on fire by night riders after they say a white woman was raped. Then later, it was covered by the body of water we now know as Lake Lanier. May Crow is buried here at this Gainesville cemetery, but the trail of destruction following her death stretches into the land surrounding Forsyth County, buried beneath these waves of Lake Lanier, where in 1912 nearly every black resident was forced out. That includes people living in an old black town called Oscarville. The community was formed in the late 1800s during the Reconstruction era.
There was a very strong community feeling among the blacks. About 300 children that went to some of the schools that were the black schools, and it was closely connected to the churches.
Georgia history teacher Lisa Crosby says Oscarville was a thriving black community, full of carpenters, blacksmiths, and bricklayers, but farming was the top trade.
So they really had kind of a miraculous farming growth here while the rest of the state was really struggling.
But then residents were abruptly forced off their land.
So the flashpoint, I think, is 1912.
This takes us back to the death of May Crow. The 19-year-old white woman was found dead in the woods near Oscarville, presumably after being raped.
Typically, the answer to white girls being raped was go to the black community and just start blaming people.
By nightfall, terror began to reign over Oscarville.
So from there, the rage and hatred in the community, mobs got together and they were called night riders, and they were riding throughout Oscarville and driving out the black community.
And the night turned deadly. You know, they were waking up by fires outside, fire bombs thrown in the church.
Filmmaker Bob Mackey recaptures those horrific nights in an upcoming television series.
Anytime anything happened, guess where everyone would go? To the church. Well, they attacked the church. People were hung, lynched.
Mackey's series features stories of direct descendants like George Rucker, who can trace his family back 4 generations to Oscarville. He tells the story of his great-grandfather, Bert Oliver, and the entire family being forced off their land.
Night riders came through. They had to leave everything. The main thing they left was property, and my grandfather had 100 acres.
Rucker says many relatives died as they tried to flee.
So when they got to the Chattahoochee River, from what I understand, they were told, when the mob got up on the bridge, they were told that they either had to swim or drown. Most of them didn't make it. My grandfather, one of them that did make it, he lost some brothers and sisters.
He says his relatives who survived settled in Gainesville.
From what my mother told me, Bert Oliver, he would sit and tell her this story, and he would just sit and cry.
Crosby says whites in the area took over the remaining properties. She says Oscarville farmers were specifically skilled in raising poultry, which set the pace for Gainesville eventually becoming poultry capital of the world.
You have a farm already going, and you had free land, so you just take it.
Rucker says his great-grandfather married his second wife, Beulah, and they built this school that still stands in Gainesville today. By the late 1950s, the Beaufort Dam was built and Lake Lanier was formed, covering up Oscarville and swallowing most of its history. Many believe Lake Lanier is haunted because of the high number of drownings. We spoke to officials who tell us because there is an entire town that includes structures and even forest areas with trees that are 60 feet tall, it makes it more difficult to navigate through, and someone can easily become trapped in debris, leading them to drowning. We have so much more on this story on our website.
Well, as you can see, once again, we were a scriving people in our own little town, and you see what they did? It's just like the Tulsa, Oklahoma incident where they killed all those people and burned down the town. But only difference is in Georgia, they put the town underwater. So there are structures, houses perhaps, still under there. There are trees. It's a forest under there. And the trees are 60 feet high. It is a town literally under Lake Lanier. So with that being said, this is why they don't hardly ever find people that drown into the lake, because they get maybe tangled in the trees, or probably go all the way down inside of a house or a building. And that explains everything now as to why they don't find most people when you drown up there. Usher, he's from Atlanta. His son died up there not too long ago, drowned. They recovered his body, but it's every year. It's either boating accidents, people. It's like every year a lot of people die at this lake, and I'm really not gonna go into what I think it is, but it kind of makes me angry to know that even back then, 1912, 1913, black people had it going on. Black people were doing their own thing. And every time they were succeeding by themselves, then they'll come in and say, hey, you know what? Somebody raped a white woman. So guess what? We're going to kill you and burn down the city. And they done this twice. And I used to hear about, ever since I was a kid, I used to hear about a town being under Lake Lanier, but I thought it was a myth. Come on, really? You know, I'm like, yeah, all right. Until today. And the news clip that you saw is Atlanta News. And they're very good at what they do. They will not report something unless they had proof of it. I just don't know what to say about this. It's upsetting to me because black people have really been just being independent and doing their thing. The chicken poultry warehouse that's up in Gainesville is still running today off of that incident, because there was, like the lady said, there was a black man, I forgot his name. He was a skilled poultry guy that he knew how to raise chickens, healthy chickens, and he knew how to feed them, what time to feed them, how much to feed them. He had mastered that, and they stole that from him. And now that chicken place that's like an hour from where I'm at right now they say is the best poultry warehouse in the world. Not in the United States, in the world. And if it's off the death and backs of black people. So they burned one city down, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they put this one underwater in Georgia. I tell you, reparations are due. They really are due. It shouldn't even be an argument about it. Reparations are due. I mean, really. There would be generational wealth that black people would have. Like most black families would have generational wealth had they been left alone. We're very, very smart, intelligent people, just like everybody else. The picture that has been painted of us is that we're lazy. All we want to do is drink, smoke, and get high. Well, guess what? If every time we build something, you come and tear it down and then take lives with it, that could cause people to be depressed and cause them to may want to take a drink every now and again. So now that it's with this modern day slavery, everybody have to go to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and you still not comfortable in your position, meaning that you still not comfortable at home. It's bills always due, but you working your ass off and you still behind on that bill because you got to pay this bill. It's modern day slavery. And that's why every so often your employer tells you, hey, you're getting too much overtime. Nah, we can't let you keep getting this overtime, because overtime pay does alleviate the stress of your bills, and they know this. That's why every so often they go to raising hell about overtime. So these people are in control of your livelihood. I'm gonna tell you something, people. I'm finna put this in the universe. Start looking at universal life insurance. Start looking at stocks. Get with a stockbroker. Fidelity. It's, just call around. Start looking at stocks. If you don't understand it, call a stockbroker. Buy, every time you get paid, buy 5 stocks. They got stocks out there like $10 a stock. And your stockbroker will let you know if this is a safe or not too safe stock to invest in. Start doing that, right? So that way, at least in a few years, you'll be able to borrow money and get money off of yourself. You don't have to go to a bank. You don't have to go to a little loan place. They want to run your history, know all your business. No, you become your own bank. So look into universal life insurance. It's insurance that you can use while you're alive. You'll just be borrowing money off yourself with no interest rate, no nothing. You borrow $50,000 off your life insurance. You just keep paying your premiums until if you got $100,000 universal life insurance, and you decide you want $50,000 of that. Okay, so if you was to pass before you pay that $50,000 back, obviously you only covered for $50,000. So this is what you do. You get you 2 policies. One that's just for burial, and one for you to live off of. Rich people been doing this. They've been doing it. I would not advise you guys to do this if I wasn't doing it. I'm a few years in the game. I'm a few years in the game now. And I didn't get it from nobody. I used to ask people questions and everything, and I just couldn't get it from nobody. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is because I put myself in certain circles. But as far as the universal life insurance, I just started researching, and I was already under in life insurance. So I called my life insurance company and I got to talking with them, and boom, there you go. You know what I mean? And so I don't have to borrow $50,000 from a bank. I'm the damn bank. I can get it if I can get mine if I want to right today, because I've had it a few years. But we got to start thinking beyond 9 to 5. We got to start thinking beyond that, y'all. I mean, that's really, I'm gonna tell you about a job. A job is to be used as a stepping stone. meaning it will at least keep you somewhat afloat while you pursue your dream or your plan. I don't want to say dream. I don't want to say dream. I would rather say your plan, your itinerary. You know, like I say, every piece of money that comes in your hand, free money, like after you pay your bills, if you got something left, try to figure out what you can do with it to get a return on it. So, to keep it simple, what if you left with $100, $100, but you can put it somewhere and bring back $120? Would you do it? Okay, so now you know you don't always have to invest your money. I mean, you don't always have to double your money. You don't always have to double your money to make money. If you put in $100 in something and it kick you back $120 more with that, well, you just made a profit because you started with 100, now you got 120. And if you keep doing that, them $20 will add up. You know, so I don't think we living in a time now where I look at this stuff and I doubt very seriously if they try that shit now, it won't happen like that. It will not to say those people were weak. Those people were vulnerable. They was vulnerable. You know what I mean? But now it's like we living in the days where we're getting more and more knowledge. It's coming slowly, but it's coming surely. We're getting more and more knowledge of stuff we should have known 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And so I'm saying to these young folk, man, if y'all don't stop killing each other, man, y'all crazy, man. Do y'all really see what's going on around us? And all y'all could think about is your ops. That's not your ops, man. Look at him and look at you. He resemble you in some type of way. He's not your op. If you want to fight, you fight together. You know, it's a war going on as we sleep. And that war is against us. It's against us. Every law that's made, you better believe that they have us in mind, but not in a good way. All right? So just take my advice on just stop spending your money on stuff that don't mean nothing. Just stop it, man. We ain't got time for that. We can create the generational wealth. You know, but we have to be hasty about it. We have to, as soon as we learn about it, we have to act on it. Example, bankruptcy. Years ago, you can go file for bankruptcy and it was hardly nothing you had to do to get that done. Well, when black people started utilizing the bankruptcy, all types of stipulations started coming up on that. They make it now to the point where you might well just try to get out the hole on your own. And bankruptcy wasn't designed for that. It was designed to ease the pain, to ease everything up. Now they want you to go through everything, all these stipulations, everything, just for bankruptcy. And you know why? You know why? Because we're utilizing it now. So, I'm Dre Drizzle. This Run Your Mouth podcast. Talk to me in the comment section. Let me know what's on your mind, how you feel about it. All right? Peace, love.
Chill. D-boy hits. Hey, Steve-O, man, pass the weed. Yeah. Do a little sip of that Remy too, my nigga. Yeah, my nigga. We smoke when we want to, we drink when we want to. This what we do, man.
Smoke when I want to, drink up the Remy. Smoke when I want to, drink up the Remy. Smoke when I want to, drink up the Remy. It's D-boy in